This ingracious abduction constitutes a grave violation of the fundamental rights enshrined in our Constitution. In particular, Article 29 guarantees every citizen the right to freedom and security, including protection from arbitrary detention. This blatant disregard of constitutional protection strikes at the very core of our democratic society. Such violations cannot and will not be tolerated. The perpetrators of such acts must be brought to justice. Acts of kidnapping and arbitrary arrests, and illegal confinements are not merely personal affronts. They are crimes against the state and a direct threat to the rule of law, which forms the foundation of our democracy, and any action that undermines it erodes the fabric of our society. No individual, regardless of the status of power, is above the law. We stand united in resisting any attempts to weaken the legal framework that protects our freedom. Criminal responsibility is an individual. Where an individual is suspected, that individual must be subjected to the rule of law and subjected to the due process of law. That is the only way we can all be accountable to the rule of law and cherish our democracy. The reported matter in our case sparks great public concern, underscoring the urgent need for enhanced security measures for both public officials and ordinary citizens. It's a unanimous call to the government to take immediate and decisive steps to restore public confidence by ensuring the safety and the security of all Kenyans. The state has constitutional duty to protect its citizens, and any failure in this regard is unjustified, flawed, and unacceptable. While underscoring the mandate of our security law enforcement agencies as unequivocally outlined in the National Police Service Act, the police are tasked with maintaining law and order and preserving peace, protecting the life and property, and enforcing the laws of the land. In this instance, the responsibility rests squarely with the CID, the police, and all other security agencies to ensure to firmly uphold this mandate by conducting a thorough, transparent, and swift investigation. The credibility of this institution is aptly at stake, and their response will test the commitment to the rule of law. Since the hijacking and the unfortunate disappearance of the MCA has ignited widespread public outrage, intensifying the demand for clear answers, swift and decisive action. The continued silence to date, even after reporting, and this being a state officer, being an elected officer, to date, no official communication has come out from the investigative agencies. This deepens our fear and frustration. Any further delay risks eroding public trust in our security apparatus, and government must decisively act to restore this critical component of our governance structure. It's our strong message to the relevant government agencies to provide timely and transparent update on the investigation process. The lack of information is fueling fear and uncertainty. The authorities must reassure the public that every necessary measure is being taken to resolve this case swiftly and justly. If there are legitimate grounds for detaining Honorable Yussuf, due process must be followed. He should be presented before a court of law in line with the principles of natural justice, the rule of law, and constitutional grounds without prejudice or compromise. Legal institutions, if any, should be resolved in the courts, not through clandestine operations like what the MCA and many other people have been subjected to in the recent past. This criminal act is not just an attack on an individual, but a flagrant assault on the principle of justice and security that brings together the fabric of our nation. As we stand united in condemning this heinous violation, we are also reminded of the critical importance of safeguarding the fundamental rights of every citizen, regardless of his status. The courts are the ultimate guardian of justice in our democracy, and they play a critical responsibility in addressing any issues involving police arrest. Such matters must be resolved through the courts, ensuring that the rights of the accused are also protected and justice is promptly served. The independence and integrity of the judiciary are paramount in ensuring there is fairness and transparency in the application of the rule of law. As we advocate for justice, we also stand in unwavering solidarity with Yusuf's family and the people of Delaware, and by extension the people of Eldas and Wajir County and Kenyans in general. And our message to the abductors is Kenya is a nation governed, to the abductors, whoever they are. Our message is Kenya is a nation governed by laws. No one is above the law. Intimidation and violence have no place in our society. And finally, we urgently call upon the Office of the Inspector General and all the relevant government agencies to widen their scope of investigation and expedite the search for Honorable Yusuf, and by extension prioritize his immediate recovery. Those responsible for these areas act must be swiftly apprehended and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We will not rest until Honorable Yusuf is severely returned or produced before a court of law if there is any evidence. We also continue to urge all Kenyans to remain vigilant and demand unwavering accountability from our security agencies. Upholding the rule of law is the bedrock of our democracy, and we must all stand united to ensure its restoration and the maintenance of public order. Thank you.